Everybody good to go? Evening. I want to start off with our thoughts and prayers are with the family and friends of Kathleen Moore. And we're offering victim advocates and any assistance that they need during this time. The one thing, we at Pasco Sheriff's Office, when we find somebody is missing, they've run away, we post their information as soon as possible. The one thing that our detectives talk about in this case is the amount of family that have reached out, the amount of loved ones that have reached out. Whether it was Kathleen's nursing school friends, people that she works with, the amount of love that they were showing trying to find her. So if there's one thing that I can tell the family is that Kathleen was absolutely loved by this community. This is also a sad reminder that domestic violence occurs in every community. And here in Pasco County, we have Sunrise Domestic Violence Shelter. So if there's anybody in a situation that violence is going on in their relationship, please reach out to Sunrise. There is help. There are people that want to help you. Whether they call 911, get the sheriff's office, we will get you in touch with Sunrise. We need the community's assistance right now because we are looking for the body of Kathleen. We need any tips we can get, and I will get further into that information. But the other part is, which I know a lot of people have figured out, there's an arrest. The Pasco Sheriff's Office, along with the State Attorney's Office, I want to thank Bruce Bartlett for his leadership there. We've arrested Collin Knapp with second-degree murder. So a lot of the information I have is still preliminary. This is still an ongoing investigation. Sergeant Rosa is here. He leads up the major crimes unit. There are some things we can answer. There are some things that we cannot answer. And there's some things that we shouldn't answer. And right now, we're trying to get resolution. We wish that Collin would provide us the information of where Kathleen is. And we delayed this press conference a little bit because we just arrested him this afternoon. We were hoping he was going to provide information during his interview. As one of our detectives described, he was very cold. Even when we were begging with him to tell us where her body is, he wouldn't give us that information. The other reason we can't talk about some things right now is because we have to find justice for Kathleen and for her family. There are things only the Pasco Sheriff's Office knows, the State Attorney's Office knows, and Collin Knapp knows. If we release that information, we can hinder the investigation, we can hinder prosecution, and we can hinder justice in this case. I want to thank Bruce Bartlett and the State Attorney's Office. They've been great partners in this. The Pinellas County Sheriff's Office and FDO Lee, their biology lab, worked all weekend long to assist us in this investigation. So this is the timeline of events that we have so far. On November 28th, between 10 p.m. and 11:30 p.m., Kathleen and Collin left Largo after a night of socializing, hanging out with friends at multiple bars in Largo and Indian Rocks Beach. Kathleen and Collin had been arguing at some of these bars. They left in his Cadillac and arrived around 12:30 a.m. the next morning. So it's the same night, just going past midnight. So it's 12:30 a.m. on November 29th at the 7-Eleven at Carmel Avenue and 7 Springs Boulevard in Pasco County. Collin buys cigarettes, and he states that Kathleen was in the vehicle. Well, we looked at the tapes, and unfortunately the tapes aren't very clear. So we aren't 100% sure if she was in the vehicle or not in the vehicle. And anybody who's seen some surveillance tapes, it's very hard to find out exactly where that person is. But we're still trying to look for more information on that part. Collin told us that they go to the Carmel Avenue, his residence on Carmel Avenue, where they have another argument. At this point, Collin claims that Kathleen left with her backpack and just left the residence. There is no evidence that we have right now that shows that she left that residence. So Collin then, about an hour later, before decides to go to his job, which is at Harold Seltzer Steakhouse in Port Richey. He's a kitchen manager there, and he wanted to complete a meat inventory order around 1:30 a.m. I also want to thank Harold Seltzer's restaurant. They've done a very good job cooperating with us, providing us information, so I want to thank them very much for being a partner in this case. Kathleen, she went missing early Monday morning. We cannot find any evidence after the fact that he told us she was at his house, you know, from that moment on. She was originally reported missing out of Pinellas County. Pinellas County got that case early Tuesday morning. Pinellas County started running with that right away. Then later on in the afternoon, they realized she was last missing in Pasco County. That's when Pasco County picks up the case. The preceding days after that early Monday morning, when everybody lost track of her, nobody's seen her. Nobody saw her at school, nobody saw her at work. She was supposedly very active on social media. No accounts, nothing was being seen on social media. Pinellas County then pinged her phone, and it was a man who had found her phone at the Walgreens. He actually tells us that he dumpster dives, and he found that there at the Seven Springs Boulevard and Little Road. So we continue to follow up information there. So we found out through the investigation that Collin had some garments of clothes that he had taken to work at Harold Seltzer's. He then puts it in the dumpster there. We find out in the investigation. Our detectives meet up with the waste management people, ask to get all that stuff that's in the dumpster brought to a landfill, and they go through that. I can't tell you the dedication of the women and men in that unit, of the entire Pasco Sheriff's Office, but let me just emphasize in that unit right now. They were digging through the dirt. They were digging through all that mess. Think about a restaurant dumpster. They were going through it. Day in and day out. They were constantly going through it. There are women and men in that unit that have barely slept in the past 6 days. They have a few hours of sleep. That's how dedicated they are. We've had canines out there searching. We've had drones out searching. We've had every tool possible. You know, we do everything. When somebody goes missing, we will put every resource out there to find them. As they were going through that search, they find his article of clothing, and they find bloodstains on it. We send those bloodstains to the FDLE. Again, I thank the FDLE biology lab. They did a phenomenal job. They worked relentlessly. They matched those blood to Kathleen. So we went back to State Attorney Bruce Bartlett's office, who got a judge to sign off on a second-degree homicide warrant for Collin Knapp, which we immediately served this afternoon. Collin Knapp, his date of birth is 6/1991. He has 10 previous felony arrests and 9 misdemeanor arrests since 2004. Some included ag assault, ag battery, and domestic violence. In that case, Kathleen was not involved. Again, our hearts and prayers pour out to the family and friends of Kathleen Moore. I know you are all searching for a better resolution, and we all were. But unfortunately, this is what we have. And so I ask God to look over all of us and to look over you, because I know you're looking for answers. I know right now you are in awful pain. And may God bless you during this time, and know that this sheriff's office is going to continue to work hard with Bruce Bartlett and the state attorney's office to ensure that justice is done in this case. And I know it won't bring her back, but at the same time, know how much she was loved by so many people in this community. And if that's the one thing that our legacy is how much we are loved by others, she has a legacy that's greater than so many of us will ever have. Again, for the fact that domestic violence occurs in every community, if you're in a domestic violence relationship, please get help. There are people that want to help you. They don't want it ending like this. For Collin Knapp, who's in this facility right now, know that there is a God. Know that he knows all the answers. And right now you have an opportunity to do something positive when you had done so much evil. Please share with us right now where Kathleen is, so we can do something for the family. We can give them some type of resolution. The other one is, anybody out there with any information, please, this is the location if you have a tip, if you have any information, or is there anything that you could provide us, please go give this number a call. In the next hour or so, we're going to be putting up information on the Pasco Sheriff's Office Facebook page. That's going to have description of the vehicles, some more information out there that we need your assistance on. Investigations are done by working with law enforcement, not by trying to create your own investigation by yourself. If you are out there and you have information and you don't share with us, you are hindering the investigation and you're not helping her family out. Please go to Pasco Sheriff's Office page, provide us the information, call this number up. That's how we solve crimes. Because there's one thing you also have to realize. We follow the Constitution of the United States and of the state of Florida. We have to make sure that justice is done in the courtroom. We do not want to do anything or hinder this investigation or harm prosecution that will not bring justice to Kathleen. So if you want to bring justice for Kathleen, let's do it the right way. Let's work together, provide us the information so we can get the prosecution of this case and help the state attorneys out. There's, in so many cases, 99% of the cases we deal with missing and runaway people and people that go missing, we have a positive resolution, and this one we don't. But again, I give everyone out there the knowledge that the Pasco Sheriff's Office will do everything in our power for Kathleen's family, whether it's victim advocates, whether it's our chaplain corps, whether it's our prayers, and right now it's our detectives going out there to try to find out where she is. And with that, I want to bring up Sergeant Rosa, and if we were going to try to answer any questions you have, everything you have, Sergeant Rosa is going to probably fill in some of the gaps that I missed. I know he's probably tired like the rest of his team because they haven't slept. But at the same time, there's some things we can't answer because we have to make sure that prosecution is served, they do a good job in it, they will get the facts. And at the same time, there's only several people that know the facts, and we don't want to distort that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Michael Rosa, R-O-S-A. I'm a detective sergeant with the Pasco County Sheriff's Office Major Crimes Unit. If anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Just wondering, where are you searching right now? Is there a place you're searching for her body, or any ideas where you're kind of leading you at this point?
So we've searched multiple areas, especially in the vicinity of where our suspect currently lives. We've done multiple searches. We are still searching. We are taking in tips. The sheriff, like the sheriff said before, we're going to release the suspect's vehicles to everybody in the community and want people to reach out to us and see if they saw that vehicle in a certain time period, so we can also have different searches. Unfortunately, this suspect had multiple hour head start on us, so we didn't get involved in the investigation approximately 35 to 40 hours after she had gone missing. So where to search, we don't know, but we've searched multiple places. Our K-9 units, our drone team has been out. We have had multiple detectives, up to 20 to 30 detectives, out searching multiple different areas in Pasco County.
So how are you able, without a body, how are you able to make the determination that she is deceased based on limited blood evidence? How were you and other investigators make the determination?
So yes, there was some blood evidence that was identified as hers on our suspect's pants. However, there's lots of blood that was located during this investigation. There's more to it, sir, than just that. However, there's a lot of parts in the investigation that brought us to probable cause.
Can I give the suspect's spelling name, please?
So it's Collin, Knapp. And do you have that here, sir? Let me make sure I spell it correctly. C-O-L-L-I-N K-N-A-P-P.
Oh, spell that again?
First name?
Yeah, it's the last name.
I'm going to start over if you don't mind, sir. C-O-L-L-I-N for everyone. K-N-A-P-P. He's a white male, 6'19" of 91.
Is there a reason why he wasn't able to be named a person of interest or a suspect in this case earlier?
So not necessarily. So it was probably a strategy to that we were trying to keep him cooperative and keep him working with us. And probably if somebody called you a suspect or a person of interest of a crime, you probably wouldn't deal with law enforcement anymore.
Has he exercised?
So no problem. So that would be the strategy of that, ma'am.
What was the first interaction with him like then? Was he not forthcoming with you guys from the beginning?
So there was multiple things that he said during his first statement of us that we found inconsistent that made us very suspicious of her whereabouts.
Has he been cooperative in any way, or is he exercising his Fifth Amendment
So at this time, he's exercised Fifth Amendment right to be silent. He's requested an attorney at this time. However, in the very beginning of the investigation, he was cooperative. However, he was very inconsistent in his cooperation.
Based on the amount of blood and where you guys found blood, do we have any indication on possible cause of death or manner of death at this time?
Not at this time, ma'am.
Sir, how important is it to find this body to have a successful prosecution in this case?
So that would be important for multiple reasons. The most important reason to find the body is for the family. We want to find it, obviously we want to find the body for our investigation. However, there's been multiple investigations that have been made with a no body found in a homicide investigation.
Can you go over his previous record again? I know you talked about he has a number of felonies, and kind of give us a sense of the extent of that in the most recent time he's been a guest of the state.
He's been arrested multiple times. I know the sheriff listed off all the charges. We are looking into more details on those cases. Some of them were domestic violence, however, they weren't with this current victim, a different victim. So we are also looking into those cases as well.
But how many of the felonies, because you listed the number of felony convictions.
The amount of convictions I have to go back on, he has been arrested though for 10 felony and 9 misdemeanor since 2004.
10 felonies and 9 misdemeanors, he's been arrested.
Arrested for, I'm not sure about the convictions right now, I don't have that with me right now. Ag assault, aggravated assault, aggravated battery, domestic violence, I know there was some narcotics in there, also charges.
Ag assault, ag battery.
Domestic violence. And I think the domestic violence was in 2013.
Had there been any previous reports of domestic violence incidents at that house while he was with Kathleen during the course of their relationship? I know it was on again, off again, according to friends.
So our suspect and victim are mostly from the Largo area of Pinellas County. Our suspect has lived in Pasco County very long, approximately a year. He owns that home that we are currently looking at. He and her do not have any history in our county.
Do they have history then in Pinellas?
No, only history of arguments and possible domestic disputes are from family and friends telling us that.
We have no idea at this point where her body may either be in Pinellas County or here in Pasco. We have no idea the location of, any idea of the region?
So, no, sir. So what I can tell you is approximately 35 to 40 hours. Like I said, I hate to say it, a head start, but our suspect had 35 to 40 hours. So in theory, the body could be within that distance of time.
Do you know how long was the relationship between them?
Approximately 5 years, on and off, boyfriend and girlfriend.
Can you confirm the location of the Walgreens where her phone was found in that dumpster?
So I apologize, I don't have the actual address, but it's 7 Springs Boulevard and State Road 54.
Have you spoken to the defendant's parents yet, that they might know about this case, sir?
So we have not reached out to them. We are planning on reaching out to them in the near future.
Were there any other friends or acquaintances who were back at the address that night who might provide information as to what happened? Was it just her and Collin went back to the home there?
So we have no evidence that anybody else was in the home during this incident.
What about the reports, friends saying that she had made a call out about trying to get an Uber? Is there any evidence she had tried to order an Uber? And with the phone, has that been helpful in accessing anything to help piece this together?
So we have the victim's phone. We also have the suspect's phone. There's no evidence that Uber came to that area at all.
I just forgot the question.
Do you know the last communication she made on her phone, whether it was a call or text and whom that was made to?
I won't not release who it was released to, but it was that evening when she was with our defendant.
Before they left the bar?
So I would be filling in the blanks, ma'am, to say that, but while they were together, most likely en route to Pasco was the last communication that we have from our victim.
Can you confirm that, was it to him or was it to somebody?
It was to somebody else via text, ma'am.
Is he being arraigned tomorrow morning at all, and if so?
Yep, I believe it will probably be afternoon tomorrow.
Tomorrow afternoon?
Yes, ma'am.
Any idea of how close the Walgreens is to his home?
In very close proximity,
Okay.
maybe 3-4 blocks away.
Okay.
And again, the clothes with his blood, that was at the stake, the Seltzers, correct? That's where that blood evidence was found?
Harold Seltzer.
Blood Seltzers?
Can you ask that again, please?
The blood evidence on his clothes, that was at the dumpster at the Harold Seltzers where he worked? is that
Yes,
correct?
yes, sir.
Did anything turn up in the search last week at the landfill on Friday? Did that provide any further evidence?
So, yeah, so to clarify better, we had that dumpster, it's a compact dumpster that's at Mr. Seltzer's restaurant, brought to the landfill to be searched there.
So the actual clothes was found at the landfill?
Well, technically, but the dumpster was dumped out at the landfill for us to have an area to search. And then that's where we found evidence the evidence that you're speaking of, and other evidence as well.
Is this the Harold Seltzers in Port Ritchie off of US 19?
Yes, ma'am. Again, I would like to say to the Harold Seltzer and his whole staff have been 100% cooperative in the investigation. Everything we've asked for them, they absolutely volunteered and helped us out with that.
As far as searching for surveillance video, any kind of footage that between his home and Harold Seltzer's or anywhere, how are you going about kind of trying to collect all that?
So that's a very hard task. We've had uppers of 20 to 30 detectives between Pinellas County Sheriff's Office and Pasco Sheriff's Office, because that's the route they took, and in our area looking for video. We've gotten lots of video.
I know he stopped for cigarettes, and that was when he claimed she was in the car.
Yes, ma'am.
Where did he stop? What's the address of that location?
It's the 7-Eleven adjacent to the Walgreens.
How well, and you may not be able to answer this, but how well have you been able to trace their paths through some of the surveillance video and footage that you have so far? Is it kind of a matter of piecing that together, his path?
It's very difficult of piecing it exactly the route that the suspect and the victim took, but we are doing the best we can trying to find that.
All right. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all very
Thank
much.
you.
Good to see you, Sheriff.